Hi, it's Mystery Secret Searchers time again. Episode 13, Leod's Blade. From Glengarry by sleigh, across land and bay, high above a rush of gold, Caribou the story told. To Glengarry in a casket, flowers in a basket, the blade it comes and goes, Highlanders, curse and woes. Well, we've been out to British Columbia and back. We went to Quesnel, Barkerville, Alexandria, Asheville. We didn't do it by sleigh, but the journal rhyme certainly mentions sleighs. We discovered that sleighs were made in Alexandria and Glengarry. In fact, they were some of the best sleighs made in the 1800s. Glengarry, Alexandria was known for its sled making. I guess to travel across the land and across a bay, a frozen bay I'm guessing, people would use sleighs. The journal article again mentions Caribou. Caribou makes way, the story told, high above in a rush of gold. Well, we've learned the Caribou Cameron story about going to British Columbia, discovering gold, and not only going there once, but going there several times. And the amazing romantic story of him bringing his wife back to Glengarry after she had passed away from typhoid fever in Caribou during the Caribou Gold Rush. Lots of romantic and sensational stories related to that. Of course, now we're wondering, because of what we heard in Barkerville, was the sword of the Clan MacLeod, this magical kind of cursed sword, was it taken back to Glengarry? Was it taken to BC by Caribou? Did John MacLeod go with Caribou Cameron? Did John MacLeod have something to do with the return? Did he try to convince Caribou to keep it there? Or did Caribou, as some of the stories are told, pack the Clan MacLeod sword up in his wife's coffin, transport the sword and his wife all the way from Barkerville, British Columbia, via the Panama Canal, back to here, back to Glengarry, back to Charlottenburg, where he lived in Glengarry, where his wife now rests, where we know her grave, her tomb, was exhumed. During that process, did Caribou remove the sword that he had sent back to Glengarry? We may never know. We're on the hunt, we're on the search for that Clan MacLeod sword. It must be back in Glengarry now. That's where we're going to continue our search, in Glengarry, for the Clan MacLeod sword. Did Caribou feel that the curse was too much? The sword was in Barkerville. The gold mine had dried up. There was no more gold to be found. People were dying of typhoid fever. Even though Barkerville was one of the biggest cities at the time. In 1862, Barkerville had over 10,000 people living in it. It was a bigger population than some of the major cities that were popping up in the United States. Only, I think, Chicago and San Francisco were actually bigger than Barkerville. But once the gold dried up, Barkerville dried up too. So did the sword come back to Glengarry? We don't know. The rhyme says, to Glengarry in a casket, the blade it comes and goes, to Scottish Highlanders' woes. Here's John MacLeod. John MacLeod, knowing the magical powers of these MacLeod heirlooms in Dunvegan Castle, including the magical blade. The church in Barkerville, which was actually a MacLeod museum, where, most important of all, we found this MacLeod pin. The MacLeod pin has the holdfast symbol on it. It's representative of all the MacLeods all over the world, even these MacLeods in Barkerville. But Liud's blade, look at the blade that is on this pin. I want to point out the top part above hold fast. There are 3 interconnecting rings. I didn't realize the significance of this, but now I do. These rings are the Trinity knot, or the Triaqua rings, symbolizing many things, including the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, which are the cornerstones of Roman Catholicism. It comes in different shapes. On the internet, I found all kinds of different shapes of this Triaqua shape. And I've got information that talks about how it's related to Celtic culture, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, but it also has other meanings. It's Latin. Triaqua is Latin for 3-cornered. And although its exact origins are not known, it's found in Indian heritage sites that are over 5,000 years old. But it's found quite prominently on carved stones and other objects in Northern Europe, dating from the 8th century AD, and on some Germanic coins. The Trinity knot is at the center of Celtic culture, and it seems like it was meant to mean the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. It was found on many weapons and jewelry. Now we're going to take a look at some of the weapons, and we notice that, yes, in fact, on swords and sheaths and rings, this is a ring of the Knights Templar, you find the Triaqua symbol. Wow, this is fascinating. Now it does have other meanings. People have thought of other meanings. In different cultures, it might have different meanings. In the Chinese culture, it has a different meaning, kind of related to yin and yang. In the Indian culture, there is a symbolism there. For the Scots, it was a major symbol, the Celtic symbol. Here we have some of the Clan MacLeod artifacts. These are what you would find on a Clan MacLeod kilt. This is the Clan MacDonald symbol. I use that as an example because we find it on the kilt. Of course, the Clan MacLeod symbol is the hold fast. Well, we'll keep exploring these. We have a lot of clues, but still so many unanswered questions. The adventure will continue. Please like, share, and subscribe.